All right, y'all. Welcome back to Visionary Sanctum. Girl, from the title of this episode, y'all know what kind of mood I'm in today, okay? Locked in, I guess. Shit's just been getting weird all over the place. All the things. I'm sitting here coming to you moo down if y'all are watching the video. Or you can just feel the vibes through your headphones, through your speakers if we're being an audio only listener today, okay? Starting off with our fun check-in. Usually I like to have something fun and profound to say, and how I'm growing and progressing and feeling, and girl, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just taking it day by day, locked in, I guess. Within the last 5 days, I've had surgery. Someone rear-ended my parked car hard as fuck. I discovered it a few days after surgery because obviously post-op you can't drive. So I go down there. I was on my last 2 tampons. I said, let me just drive to the store real quick, get some tampons, come back. The back of my car obliterated. In the way that the parking is set up near me. In order for someone to even do that, they had to, the best way to describe it is they had to reverse in the opposite direction of oncoming traffic in order to hit my car parked. So that was terrible. I was outside angry, came back inside crying, upset. I'm bleeding. I'm on my period and I just had surgery a couple days prior to that and had to get my car towed because it was already some issues anyway. And there was no way for me to try to pay to get that fixed. So it's gone. Okay, fine. Couple days later, on my heaviest day, I'm out and about for a project that y'all will see. Maybe the rollout won't be in the way that I imagined because I made it to my second filming location and busted my shit. There was an area when you come off the elevator, you walk and there's a step down. There's no indication that there's a step down. It literally just looks like wood and then more wood continuing, and you don't know until you get close. That step, not only was it not obvious that it was there, the one step, it was steep, like over a foot drop right when you head off the elevator. So my foot came down and it came at an angle. I was with another person that I had just met that day and there was nothing they could do to help me. Obviously, I got myself off the ground, realized I could not walk properly, and I had to Uber to urgent care, left on crutches. So now we have a surgical wound that's still trying to heal. I'm carless because my shit's fucked up. I'm on my period, and over across the room from me, I have crutches. And this is the weekend for me that I really want to start this project. And that's just, I had all this free time to finally get it done. And what do? I bust my ass. I also have something I'm trying to go to tonight. I'm going to go anyway. I'm going to show up with crutches. The people there, they won't know I'm on crutches until I show up in the shit. They also don't know that I had surgery or what happened to my car. So how would I sum that up? I would sum that up to, girl, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I need to go ahead and calm down. Period. Moving on. Actually, before we move on and I get into some of the topics and things that we're going to discuss today, the overall mood, the way I'm filming, if you're watching this, the light is dim. I've lost daylight. I did not take the time to do this really cool lighting. And I said, fuck it. Because I'm locked in, I guess. I digress. Let's get into sexual details. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit more into my experience about surgery and my mom coming out here to visit me. We're going to get into my abundant flow of creativity and content and stuff that's happening right now that I don't think will die anytime soon. How I revived my TikTok recently. We'll do a short little director's cut segment for the previous collaboration episode I did with Martel. Then I'm going to close out with some fun stuff like internet privacy. That's been something that's been on my mind and how people go about it. And this whole being locked in and working hard and making and producing content and the net, like girl, I'm deep in this shit, so I want to talk about what it means to be in the thick of it. Then we'll get into our word. What our word is, I don't know. We're going to figure it out as we get deeper into this episode. Okay, starting off with going under the knife. There was, I won't say too much about like what I got done or whatever, but something pretty common. And it's something I've been wanting to get done for like the last year. And I've had this issue the last 2 years, but now it's done. Now it's handled. Last year, it had become a really big goal of mine because I was not in a position of financial stability to even go and pay all the co-pays, to even get the proper diagnosis, to get the referral, to get to the surgeon, to be able to pay the co-pay of the appointment with the surgeon, to get to the pre-op appointment, to pay that co-pay, to get the surgery scheduled. If I didn't do A plus B equals C, I had the coins to even get there. And so the fact that I even got to the point of being able to go and say, like, I'm ready to get this done, get the surgery scheduled and get it on the books is just monumental for me beyond actually handling the issue that I need to handle. So I'm very, 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 very happy and excited about all those things. And I thought, coming out of surgery, like post-op, I'm going to feel anew. And then the shit happened with my car and then my ankle and all this stuff. I'm like, girl, this is not what I meant by feeling anew. What the fuck is this? But surgery actually went really well. I had no pain, little to no pain afterward, which I was surprised about. The surgeon told my mom that I wasn't going to feel any pain. I thought his ass was lying, and he was not lying. So shout out to that incredible medical professional. You know, he's a great guy. And that hospital actually took really, really good care of me. I had a really good experience. So surgery was good. My mom came out here. I was a little bit nervous about that. I'm very nervous about having people in my shit. And she was all up in my shit. And she had practically moved into my bathroom and all that. And surprisingly, it went well. She was on her best behavior. And she got to experience Chicago with somebody who's now a local and not a tourist, And I think she had a good time. Like, it was cool. It was cool. It was a cool experience. No complaints. Next thing, let's talk about an abundant flow of creative energy, of content creation. The flow, right? I have began to experience the flow pre-op. We'll use my surgery date like before Christ, like BC AD type stuff. So pre-op, I felt the energy flowing, coming in, good, loved it, wore that. And then as I got closer to the surgery, I just took a step back. There was some stuff I wanted to knock out, but I was like, let me just pause because I've been so locked in. Let me just take a breather. When my mom came, I wasn't necessarily interested in constantly working. I was going to show her around and just take a minute to unplug, which I did unplug because I looked at my, the little thing that comes up on your phone at the end of the week about your screen time. My screen time, like average, went down like 2 or 3 hours for the entire week. So in general, that did work out and it was healthy. And then post-op, the first couple of days after surgery, I was still a bit groggy and moving slow, making sure I didn't try to didn't reopen my incision or anything like that. And then as soon as my mom left, I think that was like day 3 or something after surgery, and I started to feel really antsy. I'm over here snacking. I'm over here pacing back and forth, like thinking about, okay, like what can I do? What can I schedule? Who can I reach out to? What kind of contacts I have? Like, what projects am I trying to do? Like, let's knock this out. Like, I'm ready to go. And I realized this is like creative energy that I just need to get out, because if I'm not getting it out, I'm going to pace. I'm going to, snack, crunch. That's what I do when I get bored, or when I'm not using my energy in the way that I should be using it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was like, dang, I took a little pause, and then boom, the energy it hit me like a ton of bricks. I need to use this now. So I went out, I scheduled some things, I got in contact with some folks to knock some things out. Obviously, I got injured trying to get shit done, but the flow is there. And even though I am injured, I'm still going to try to do whatever I can while I'm healing a bit. So here we are. Now that I'm in this abundant flow of content, of creative energy, I'm finding myself in this position of, what can I do to focus myself from a business perspective as a person who produces content. I'm trying to shy away from the term content creator, as somebody who is a content producer, if you will. How can I drive my brand home, have stronger brand voicing? How can I establish myself even more in real life? Like, I'm meeting folks, I'm attaching them to the content. I'm getting so much love when I meet people, but like, I need to be scheduled for some things. So I'm going to put this out there for everyone listening. I want to moderate a panel, or I want to be on a panel. I feel like I'm smart as shit. I got all these things to say clearly. Get me on the panel. Let me talk to the people. Okay. Some engagements, speaking engagements. I can't do, maybe I shouldn't say can't. I'm not really in the keynote space per se, but I could speak a little something. I could do a little something. So hire me, put me on, call me to do those things. I'm trying to get some IRL engagements. That's the next step. And then also with this creative abundant flow, since stuff is flowing. I'm like, dang, it's time for some systems. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really thinking about all that stuff before. I was just praying for the energy. Now we need to focus the energy. And that's the piece, that part of being abundance and trying to lock in, I guess. And within that locking in and within all these systems and whatnot, next topic, revived my TikTok. And I think I talked about killing my TikTok before. I feel like several months went by when I got rid of it. Like for about a year, it was privated because I found out after moving to Chicago that your Instagram is like your business card in my Instagram. I didn't want nobody looking at my Instagram. It was old. It was a bunch of like Minnesota stuff, and we just weren't dealing with the Minnesota stuff no more. And like, I needed to start fresh. So that's what I did at the beginning of the year. I started fresh on Instagram. But TikTok ties your contacts to things, and people are going to find my TikTok anyway. I feel like it was deeply personal in a way that doesn't relate to the woman that I am today. It was cute. It was an era, but the era's gone. And if I'm going to put something on display that's representative of me to the public, I needed my TikTok to be that. So I had privated her. Now, when we talk about the rebirth of Miss TikTok, I went in my private account, okay? Then I went ahead and archived every single old video on there. Most of the stuff I did while archiving it was silent because I feel like some of those topics would have been a little triggering for me. So whatever, they're gone. But it was kind of strange, but perhaps a necessary experience for me to see older past versions of me trying to use creativity to create my way out of Minneapolis, since I was very unhappy in Minnesota, period, and unhappy with the stagnation that I was experiencing there. And while I couldn't necessarily hear everything that I was saying, it was somewhat necessary for me to visually experience all the progress that I have made. And I was not in the place to do that last year. So this year, it really was a time for me to go ahead, witness those things, archive, and see like I'm so much more out of my shell than I was before. My personality is much stronger, bolder, and there's another word I'm trying to use besides comfortable, but I'm just going to say comfortable right now. Very comfortable in my own skin. Like, I'm just cool as fuck. And I'm like sexy and like smart, all the things. That's just me. And I wasn't necessarily seeing those things before, and I see those things now, and it shows. And the way that I conduct myself throughout life and conduct myself here in this great, amazing city of Chicago. And I love the woman that Chicago has turned me into. Now let's get a little bit back more on topic. We privated all the videos, okay? And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and change it to Visionary Sanctum, and we're going to put the podcast on there. So let me tell you what happened. I clip it up. I start uploading the clips. We're still not fully caught up yet. Hopefully we'll be caught up soon with the clips. And I noticed some stuff. I do have more followers on TikTok. I was not expecting for the clips to do numbers. The clips are doing really, really well. The engagement is really, really high. I must say, I don't think these people realize it's a podcast, so we'll work on that. It kind of just gives somebody with a decent camera talking into a professional microphone about random shit and clipping it up is kind of what it gives. But I promise y'all, it's a full-blown podcast. So if y'all seeing this clip on Instagram, go bring your ass over to YouTube or go listen to the audio version. Okay. Put them headphones on and listen to the full episode. It's a full podcast. All right. But the girls are loving it. Engagement is high. And then I posted one of the collaboration episodes, like, clipped it up, whatever, like I have it on Instagram. And surprisingly, maybe I shouldn't say surprisingly, my solo episodes dominate on my TikTok. And I'm glad I revived my shit and came back anew, came back niche down, came back looking professional, came back with the content together, came back with the consistency, came back with the content abundance, all the things. I'm glad I came back the way I did, because with me being so focused on YouTube, the audio, and Instagram, I wasn't paying attention to certain things. Like Instagram, I'm like, okay, I need to keep it up, and every other episode needs to be a collaboration, because that'll be the only opportunity for growth, is to continue to put out quality solo work and that combination with collaboration work. And then I'm looking at the audio numbers, and then I'm really looking at these TikTok numbers, and the content that gets the most engagement is me. So that was very affirming to myself and the types of stuff that I do. I just have to strategize about how can I continue to grow and get that engagement and really build a strong brand surrounding the incredible moi, and making sure that it's local. I don't want to be content creator, social media girl. I want to be real life media girl, professional, your creator's favorite creator, your favorite. I'm really trying to move away from this word creator. Maybe I shouldn't fight it. I want to be like a Chicago creative's favorite creative, or like even maybe like a New York kind of situation, because the girls are connected. Chicago, New York, baby. They kind of give big city cousins, okay? Something like that. Like, it's important that I'm still grounded locally. But in terms of social media and growth, TikTok, the growth is just so much easier. I don't know why I've had such an issue on Instagram, but I'm going to consider, instead of having the content be 50-50 collaboration, having it be maybe, I don't know what percentage is, yes, next, but I don't think it needs to be 50-50 no more. I want to put out more stuff like this. And shout out to all my new followers on TikTok. It is growing really fast over there. And I'm like, should I have stayed away for so long? But maybe the timing is right. And maybe this is like a sign that as a community, this lovely community that we're building right here, we're moving in the right direction by adding that extra layer. I just need more of y'all to come to the long form side, okay? Join me on the long form side. So we're going to take a little bit of a turn and talk about our director's reflection, director's cut reflection. I don't know what we want to, call this segment per se, but I want to continue to do them after I have done a collaboration with someone. So after some more recent experiences with working with folks, collaborating more like professional interactions with somebody I did not have as strong of a rapport with, there were certain ways or certain things of communication that came up that I did not realize I had an issue with until it happened. Not even in a negative way. It was more so, okay, I need to do better with my communication, and I need to be very clear with what my expectations are, what expectations I need to set for the other person I'm collaborating with. I need to be a lot more clear about the system or the way I go about things. And then I also need to have some more backup ideas if I have this idea of how I want to shoot or how I want to tell this story. If something does not work out, I want to have some backups just as strong. Now, the way life works, the backups may never be just as strong, but just some more cool alternative ideas. And then the way that the filming and the multiple days, like certain stuff being spread out and stuff like that, it also made me think, okay, if I'm going to do a collaboration, if I want stuff to come out quicker, if I want more flexibility, maybe I should just kind of have multiple projects out there at once, since I do some interview stuff in one spot, and then I also do things like in the field I need better in the field kind of equipment. I've also thought about that. I learned that as well while we were filming, that I could do better with that. But some equipment that kind of goes with that. That way, if I can't catch someone to do all the different shots or all the different things in the field that I want to do, it'll be okay because I got some other stuff going in the background. Or I can also be cool with just dropping more solo content. It does not need to be so every other solo, every other collaboration. So that was an interesting experience, and it opened myself up to a lot more insight and holes in the operation that I had. But I loved telling that story. That was a lot of fun. And I also really loved working with somebody who had physical space. Like, the whole point of Visionary Sanctum is that it's a sacred home for a visionary, and I'm coming to them and I'm shooting there rather than everything being done like in a central location or a central studio. So I feel like I love that extra piece, and I don't see others doing that. And then it was just cool that when I did some field stuff, that was still his space. So them being a part of this nonprofit that they created and being able to physically go to their urban garden rather than just being in someone's studio. Like, it was cool to have something else. Or my experience, I met them at their bookstore that they had, and I had a really dope experience there. So that's another like larger physical space with lots of different people and lots of different experiences. So I want to continue to tell stories like that. I really loved telling the story of someone who is a community servant. I thought that was really cool and very appropriate for the times. Like, being a visionary isn't always the most artistic thing, but it all falls under creation and creativity and stuff like that. So that was a dope story to tell, and I can't wait to meet more dynamic people in that way, rather than it just being solely focused on artists. So that was a dope experience. Like, it really brought me up to some things about process, communication, expectation, and pushing my limits with creativity and areas that I could improve. So I would call it a 10 out of 10 experience, you know. Next, we're going to talk about the internet and relationships and privacy. Because a lot of you bitches, a lot of you people, girl, my thoughts on this, to preface, I'm going to drag some of y'all who claim to be private on the internet. You're not private on the internet. Now, I know that it might give hypocrisy because I'm over here yapping and talking about personal things. I'm talking about some stuff that I processed or detached from, or I'm saying a lot and skipping a lot of the details. Like, if you may see my content and feel like you know me, and then meet me in person and get a completely different vibe. Like, I'm very me, I'm very real, I'm very authentic, and I think energetically it would just be a different experience. And you might go, oh, when you said this, oh, when you said that, but like, you don't really know me. Like, we here, but we not here. It's just not the same. I'm giving a lot and a little at the same time, and it's an art form, you know. And I'm not revealing anything that if somebody were to turn around and say it would be an issue. I'm not saying anything in a way that would cause potential conflict with someone in real life. Like, it's real and authentic, but it's also general. It's a balance. And what I'm about to do or go in on is you bitches that like balance now. First of all, let's talk about the relationship people that I just don't understand. I don't understand private, but not a secret. A lot of y'all do it weird. You could be private, but not a secret, and maybe post a little bit of this, post a little bit of that. But what is the whole point of being private and not a secret? If you post this person every other day with an emoji over their face, you're constantly posting this man's ashy ass knuckles, the back of his head, every other day. What about that says private? Private, but not a secret, but it's giving attention seeking. Friends. Go ahead and post them. That's okay. Or just don't post at all. I just don't get it. Everybody's grown. Everybody do what they want to do. I'm just saying, I'm not understanding. the other piece when it comes to quote unquote privacy online that I see a lot is moving in silence. And the whole time they moving, they real loud, like, I don't want to yell into the microphone because I don't want to yell into your ears, audio listeners, but they're not moving in silence. If you're constantly posting memes and GIFs and reposts of certain things and tweets and like that, talking about how you're hustling and you don't want anybody to know every single day, everybody know you hustling, everybody know you doing something, or maybe you're doing nothing, you want to get the facade that you're constantly doing something. Me personally, I just do the work. Now, at one point in time, I was saying in my every move, I was talking about projects I was thinking about doing, like being direct and very clear about what was coming next. And then sometimes I would follow through, sometimes I wouldn't. And then my experience, y'all know episode 6, we're already on episode 12, double digits. But y'all know episode 6, haters have an eye for greatness. That episode, after my experience with someone I was referring to within that, as well as many others, I realized, hey, it's just not worth it to always say or give your full vision to everybody. As much as you possibly can, keep it close to the vest. And then there might be some folks that you can really trust and give certain details to. Like even now I have someone in my life that I can really trust, but I'm not necessarily giving them everything on Angelica's master plan, because some stuff I'm just meant to work out myself. There's some stuff that they're just meant to work out themselves as well. And then somewhere in the middle, like for what we're comfortable sharing with each other, we go ahead and reveal that stuff. It's cool. Like, of course, as I continue to know more people in my life over time, I will build stronger, confidant relationships where I might reveal even more, which I feel like I've revealed a lot so far. But some of those things that I withhold, it'll happen. And the language that I'm using is the words coming from a now private person. Imagine that. And I think the way I manage privacy now, as somebody who was previously an oversharer, I just journal about it. Or I do this lovely podcast where I yap and I say a lot and a little at the same time. Okay, y'all. Last topic. Locking in. Our title topic, locked in, I guess. Let me talk about what kind of inspired this. So obviously the back-to-back stuff, like my period starting 5 days early and surgery and my car getting destroyed after leaving it post-op and messing up my ankle. Some serious triggers for locked in, I guess. And those things kind of encompass my overall mood of what it means to be locked in, okay? And I think prior to me diving into the work that I now do and just my ideas constantly being something in theory to being deep in the process and in the abundant creative energy flow that I'm experiencing now, the goal that I thought I had on the other side has now become unclear, which is a very uncomfortable experience. Before I could write out master plans that I was never going to execute. And I had an end goal as to what I was going to be and what the possibility was. And I was going to do this. The more I get into actually executing these ideas and follow through and the journal and the manifestations coming through, each step I take in this journey, that end, that finish line that was so clear has now become blurry. And it's like this weird kind of floating feeling. And I guess some people call that faith, but it's uncomfortable. It's really, really uncomfortable. Feeling like I had something to grasp, feeling like I had let me not tap the ground too hard because my ankle's fucked up. But feeling like I had some concrete ground to step on was such a fun experience. And then kind of like just tiptoeing through the journey, but like being in it, being in the thick of it. Another analogy or way to describe it is like going like being outside the tunnel and seeing light at the other end, and then getting in the tunnel and starting to walk through it. Getting through that tunnel, it's a little dark in there. Sometimes there's tripping hazards. Sometimes your car gets hit in that bitch. Sometimes other stuff happens and you just keep going and keep going. And it's like, okay, I see the light, but like I thought I knew. I kind of realized I just assumed what was attached to the light. I don't really know. And as I'm moving, like this tunnel's a lot longer than I thought it would be. And I thought I knew exactly how to get through based on my assumptions from never having entered the tunnel. And now I'm in it and things are just a lot different. And it is weird and uncomfortable. Uncomfortable isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. But girl, I don't even know. Like, I thought I knew exactly all of what I wanted to do, and getting into the actual work and actually doing it, I'm realizing what I thought was possible is so much more than that. Like, possibility is so vast. And now that I have accepted the fact that I don't get to choose the how, girl, I'm like, I could be locked in over here and I doing this right here, thinking that this is going to give me this. And then some other stuff will come from left field that I didn't even think about, would just come in and lead me down that track and lead me down that track and lead me down that track. And I'm like, do I just keep going and being consistent with this one thing and see what comes up with it? Do I just throw my hands up and say, okay, I'll just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that? Like, I don't know. That's why I just feel locked in, I guess. A bit of a turn from the beginning of this podcast, because I was just so hyped to even start. And it's something I plan to be consistent with for a while. And it could turn into so many incredible things. And I'm just dealing with this discomfort of walking out of this tunnel solely based on intuition and faith. By believing in what I can't see. You know what? This will be the word. Let me leave y'all with the word. Let's close out. Let's close out. I am walking through this tunnel, not by sight, but by faith and by intuition. Heading to my destination by the sight of God, and understanding that this shining place, this light at the end of the tunnel, is big and it's vast, and it is a vision that only God has for me in a way that my little human brain can't even comprehend. And I don't know what that journey looks like, except the fact that I don't know what it looks like. I don't know all the obstacles that will come as I walk through, as I walk forward. And I don't know all the incredible interactions that I'll have that'll pick me up or guide me through or around these obstacles. I just know some way, somehow, through faith, through intuition, and through the sight of God, that I'll get there. And until then, until I arrive at this next level of growth and expansion, I'll just stay locked in, I guess. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and close this out. I finally gave you a longer episode. The episodes have been so short, but this is a fun one. So, all right. If you are listening to this on the audio, if you're watching this on the YouTube, follow me on Instagram at Visionary Sanctum. Follow me on TikTok at Visionary Sanctum. I got a lot of followers on TikTok. You can follow me there, but please follow me on Instagram as well. If you were watching this on the YouTube or listening to the audio, if you're seeing this piece on the Instagram, follow me on TikTok. If you're seeing this piece on the TikTok, follow me on Instagram, Visionary Sanctum on everything. Even Visionary Sanctum on Substack. If you want to listen to the episode on Substack, you can do that as well. Visionary Sanctum on everything. Interact with all platforms, please and thank you. We are a growing, thriving, amazing community of fun, intellectual, sexy, mysterious people, okay? Mystical and all the things within the sacred home of the visionary called Visionary Sanctum. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.